So I've been going for almost 3 years, and here's why. If you hear some raindrops in the background, pardon me. I wouldn't want this video to be all melancholy, but that's just what it is right now. Anyways, this channel is not dead. It's in some way hibernating. Identity Rebels was born from my passion, something that I've been doing my whole life, and just repurposed into an amazing game that it could be. But here's why I disappeared, and most importantly, what's next. First of all, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you have never been here before, and I appreciate you guys sticking around even though the channel hasn't really been doing anything, but there has been a lot done behind the scenes. First of all, my disappearance was based on, you would think, burnout, but it was a little bit of that. The main thing that actually caused it to happen was the Steam Next Festival. I touched on this a little bit before in my previous video. I really just wasn't ready for it. Steam Next Festival is something that goes on once a year around June in the summertime that allows independent game developers to showcase their games in full glory to the world. To anyone who wants to see, try out their demo, get any information about their upcoming release. It's huge for marketing and promotion of your game. So it was a great opportunity that even if I wasn't ready for it, I just said, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do it because I signed up for it and it got accepted. I wouldn't say I regret it because they said that there's only one Steam Next Festival entry per game. So I can't go into the Steam Next Festival again, even if I wanted to. With the state of the game that it's in now, polished and a lot better based on my mindset, I can't regret. I could just look at it as the way it is now based on what I've learned and move forward. Because when I was in the Steam Next Festival, it did not go well. Basically, I fumbled my 2 live streams. The game had basic problems with the UI and just normal things that you would expect to have in a game, looking from a gamer's perspective. But see, I was looking from a developer's perspective, and this helps me understand, like, okay, why do these developers come out with certain features that don't make sense? You have to think from a gamer's perspective and a game dev's perspective, and that's a little bit hard to do when you're solo developing a game. Furthermore, on a large team and there's so many different aspects that you're working on, it's hard to actually focus on the fun factor as opposed to the technicality and what needs to be in the game. And from the build-up of this Steam Next Festival, I developed some unhealthy habits. Hours upon hours in front of the screen. It was extremely hard for me to balance my real family life and my creative passion because I was neglectful. And whenever my wife would talk to me about certain things, I would just kind of veer the conversation back to my game dev, and it just was not a good experience from her perspective, definitely. And when I realized it, I'm like, man, what am I doing? This is not healthy. This is not going to work. It's not sustainable. If you, which most likely you are, game developer, solo or not, this requires a lot of attention. All right, it requires a lot of your time, and it takes away from so much else. Your job, your family inevitably is going to take away from that, especially if game development is your passion. So once I realized that, it really hit the nail on the head for me. And after Steam Next Festival kind of sealed it, and I said, okay, I need to kind of calm down with the posts on YouTube. I need to calm down with the devlogs and everything that I'm doing, and just kind of figure out where I need to go from here and the best way forward. Because you don't want to have a relationship get to a point where it's to the point of no return. That can happen with anything, not just game development. I've known people who play games so much that it just damages their relationships. So you just have to basically learn how to manage this in all areas. I also realized that, when looking at AAA games, how they have these huge budgets, millions upon millions of dollars, and they come out with these unsatisfactory releases. For example, Borderlands 4, unplayable, can't even get to the menu screen. That's personal experience for me. And, tons of other games. You can name them. You've had your own experiences, and I'm not here to downplay the AAA aspect of things. I'm just trying to give some perspective as to my motivation to make something great, going back to that feeling of creativity and what that can bring in and of itself without huge marketing teams and so much money. So I reevaluated what makes Identity Rebels unique. I built stronger design pillars within the Ultra Tech gear, different areas in no man's land like radiation bunkers that have their own story and their own way to delve into an entire different aspect of the game. Dungeon philosophy. I brought in fresh ideas and systems to make the game stand out. I don't want to get all into the details in this video. I'm just trying to explain to you where I'm at as opposed to where I was. So I want to let you know that the project is alive and moving forward. All that time I was not posting and not doing anything that you weren't able to see. Behind the scenes, I've been working, because what I've realized is that solo game development is a nice concept. It's just great when you hear that solo game dev. It was really popularized when I started out, and before that, it was really desirable to be that. So I figured, okay, I got to do all this by myself. The concept art, the 3D modeling, the coding, everything. So this is what caused all of that strain and all of the issues that I was talking about just now. And I had to really realize for myself that it's okay to not do everything. You can be the CEO of something and not have all the understanding of what everyone is doing. You can delegate. You can have a 3D modelist. You can have concept artists. You can have a storyteller. But you are the one steering the ship. One thing that solo game dev did give me was grasping a basic understanding of a lot of these elements. Like, I'm not the greatest 3D modelist. And let me just say something on that, okay? Because when I went to GDC early this year, it was phenomenal. The Game Dev Conference opened my eyes to a lot of different aspects of game development. And there was one person's booth that I walked up to. I'm not going to disclose his name. He worked for Riot Games. He was a 3D modeler, and he was sitting there modeling some armor. And I went up to him and I asked him, like, hey, how long have you been doing this? He told me how long he was doing it. And, he gave me a few techniques and pointers and what I should look forward to and what I should look for in 3D modeling. And I just decided to ask him, because I said, I'm looking for a 3D modeler. Do you know anybody? He gave me his information. He said, contact me if I need to hire somebody. But I asked him, I said, I did my own 3D modeling in my game, and I want to know what you think about it. And he said, after looking at some of the models, he gave it a 7 out of 10 or an 8 out of 10. I can't remember exactly, but I was shocked. And I'm like, yo. And he was identifying the materials I used, like the Kevlar, the steel. He knew exactly what I was doing, and he understood it. So he gave me some advice, and he said, yo, don't downplay your own art. Don't downplay your own capabilities, because you may not think it's that good, and you might think that you need to hire somebody for something that you may not. So you can just basically sharpen your skills and become what you think you need. That gave me a lot of confidence. A journeyman in the 3D modeling industry, and he told me that my 3D armor was an 8 out of 10. That gave me a great confidence booster. So it gave me a different perspective as to how to move forward. But still, I wanted to transform my position for the sake of my family, for the sake of my livelihood, for the sake of consistency and just sustainability in this industry, because I do want to continue. And that's what inspired me to hire others to do what I could do, but what they can do better. And so I hired an animator. I hired a coder. And, these things can get expensive. They can. But I mean, this is part of the journey, and I'm working on things to help me out with that as well. I just want to get the project into a place where I feel like I'm comfortable enough taking this to the next level. And you'll know what I mean in later episodes when I talk about it. But I think I'm pretty much done talking about it, because in my next video, I want to discuss how I came from a solo dev to a CEO, and how I'm transforming my game studio. So I definitely want to talk about that with you, and I'm pretty sure you're interested in hearing more about that. Anyways, that'll do it for this one, and I appreciate you listening to my story, where I'm at and where the journey is going. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section below, and I really want to hear anything about your journey or what you've been doing and how you've transitioned if you have. I'll see you in my next video. Peace.